they shouldn't, and I see them ask it and I like cringe and I'm like, don't do it. Also, chips are the best food in the world, so what is wrong with you? Much ado about nothing. Honestly, that should be the name of my channel. There'll be tuts everywhere. Tut tut tut. And I'm like, that's so offensive. Like, hi guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I am Yvette and I moved to the UK in 2019 and I am documenting my experiences and trying to, I guess, what do you call it? Trying to assimilate myself into British culture as much as possible. If you're not new around here, I'm back. I was off a little bit. I'm sorry for the absence. I did tweet to let you know that like I was okay. I know in times, these uncertain times, as everyone likes to say, it can be a bit ominous when someone disappears. I'm fine, my family is fine, I'm good, Daniel's good. Most importantly, Bambi is good. Bambi, to be honest, is loving this quarantine or lockdown, whatever we want to call it. We're not really in any of it now, but we're kind of in it. It's really hard to distinguish, but the whole 2020 has probably been the best year of Bambi's life so far. Everyone works from home, she goes for a million walks a day because that's all we could ever do, and she doesn't know how to be on her own anymore, so that's something we'll deal with. But firstly, I did want to apologise for disappearing for a little bit. I will definitely jump into the video soon, so sorry to keep everyone here who's, you know, like, get to the questions. But I did just want to say thank you to everyone who reached out saying like, am I okay? I am. It's totally my fault for not uploading. There was a few things. Firstly, I got a new job, which was exciting. My old job was fine. I actually worked throughout coronavirus, but my workload got a bit more intense because I don't know if you guys can resonate with this, but for me, my work decided to fill my calendar with a bunch of stuff constantly. So I actually ended up being busier because I wasn't in charge of my schedule to like BC before Corona. So then I was actually busier during that period. And then obviously there's just like, it's a bit depressing to be honest, like the creativity is not flowing to think of video ideas. And then I ended up getting a new job. And obviously when you start a new job, the transition, like wrapping up your old job, handing in your stuff, saying your goodbyes, and then obviously starting a new job, learning the job role, learning the people, who does what, where do I get this from? And obviously I'm doing that all remotely. My new job works from home. And yeah, so I was actually headhunted for this role. So I am aware that like, obviously my situation is unique and I'm very grateful that I was able to get a new job, which I'm actually really excited about. In the current like climate, economic climate, because I know a lot of people are out of work, so counting my lucky stars. But it was obviously very intense and stressful, so I wasn't able to. I didn't have the mental capacity to make videos, so I just kind of had to put it on the back burner temporarily. But I do have a video coming for you from my time in Croatia, so if you're interested in like my travels, and then I still have my Egypt video, which to be honest is becoming like an actual joke now. Like I should just wait until February next year and post it, because originally I didn't want to post it. So I got back first week of March, then we all went into severe lockdown and I was like, well, I don't really want to post my video of Egypt when everyone's locked in their houses and have 1 hour of exercise a day. That seems like not helpful to the slightest. And obviously there'll be people that watch it that think it's real time and think I'm actually traveling, and obviously I wasn't. So I didn't post it, and then now it's just gone on so long that I don't even know. But yeah, look, it is coming. We'll see. Give this video a thumbs up and maybe I'll make it a bit sooner. Help me, I'll use this to get me to like 1 million subs or something. Anyways, I have rambled far too long. We're gonna get into the video. I thought it'd be good to make a video about all the questions you should not ask a Brit, because I have lived here for over a year now, year and a half. Honestly, the last 6 months have been a complete blur because of, you know, the situation. But I run in quite a few multicultural circles, as you can imagine, being an expat, particularly in London. London's like 40% or 50%, no, 40% white British. We're actually more diverse than that. But anyways, so I've seen people ask Brits questions that they shouldn't, and I see them ask it and I like cringe and I'm like, don't do it. And they've already said it and you can't take it back. So I thought I would make a list of all of those times and all the things I've seen and all the things Brits seem to get annoyed about, which honestly, fair play, and put them in for a video so that If you're a Brit, you can laugh and say, lol, those foreigners are stupid, or you can be a foreigner and not be a stupid foreigner, and you can sit in and learn from me and not fall into these common traps. So without further ado, much ado about nothing. Honestly, that should be the name of my channel. But anyways, here's the list. Have you met the Queen? This one, such a common mistake. People will often think all Brits have met the Queen, which, to be honest, I would love to meet the Queen. If you know someone who knows someone, let me know. I want to go to the Queen's garden party. That would be a dream. But I look forward to someone finally asking me that question and I can finally be like, yes! But honestly, no, no one has, really. Unless, like, it's just such a weird question to ask, like, a normal person, unless you're, like, famous for some reason or another, or, like, notable. This also extends to, have you met Kate Middleton? Have you met Emma Watson? Have you met Tom Holland? Any Brit. Assume out of 66 million, I've met maybe 50. Odds on them being the Queen, I'd probably tell you right straight up. If I meet the Queen, I'll be the first to tell you. You don't have to wait to ask me. What did you do for the royal wedding? So there was this fun phenomenon when the royal wedding happened, both for William and for Harry, where people had their royal viewing parties, which I think was quite fun, but on the whole, most people didn't do anything. It makes it sound like there was like an after party that we all went to, and I was like, no, that's not how that works. This one I've heard so many times and it does my head in. Why is your food so bad? And I'm like, that's so offensive. Like, I understand like when you're talking about like race and stuff. I'm not saying it's racist because I think there's a whole other conversation around that, but like, it's completely rude to just discredit a society's entire cuisine because you think it's a bit gross. Like, okay, you might not like meat pies or something. That's fine. That doesn't mean you won't like fish and chips. Like, they're completely different. Also, chips are the best food in the world, so what is wrong with you? I just think it's a very ignorant statement. And generally, don't come for me. It's normally Americans who say this because their food is so full of sugar. I went to America once and they literally had a cookie, biscuit, whatever you want to call it, sitting on the table, and it was like the flavor. I was like, oh, what flavor is it? Like vanilla, chocolate, elderflower. And no, it was sugar flavor. And I'm like, sugar isn't a flavor. What are we doing here? So yeah, don't start me on that. British food is actually amazing. And I'm obviously vegan now, blah, blah, blah. Don't want to go into it. Don't want to be one of those people. But before I was vegan, I don't know if I've ever talked about this. I went, I don't want to derail this whole video. Tell me if you're interested and I can make a video because it involves international travel, dengue fever, almost thinking I'm dying, and then cold turkey. So, long story short, I actually, before I went vegan, didn't eat vegetables, would not eat anything green, I would eat potatoes and meat and gravy, and that would be my roast dinner. Yeah, like that was it. Like there was a no, don't bring me a carrot, don't bring me broccoli. I never ate them until I was 23, I think, when I went vegan. For me, British food was the dream because there's no vegetables in it. It's like Scotch egg, no veggies. Mince pie, no veggies. Fish and chips, no veggies. Cornish pasty, like it's all mixed in, doesn't count. Lots of pastry, lots of carbs, lots of meat, sometimes cheese, not as much as America, but cheese. So like for someone who doesn't love veggies, British food is amazing. The actual dream. And then for me now, there's so many vegan options of those things that I'm living my best life. So I love British food. This was a long rant to be like anti-American basically. Why do you eat beans of a morning on toast? I don't know why. I guess since I've grown up with beans on toast, so it's not that weird. However, I do think it's interesting because there is a difference between like a kidney bean or like some other bean that's like more Mexican based that you wouldn't have as like breakfast food, but for some reason like baked beans are. I agree, I'm on your side. I just think it's a weird like differential we've got here. To be fair, I don't eat it for breakfast that often just because I'm not much of a breakfast person. I normally like have it for lunch or an afternoon snack or dinner if I'm really desperate. But yeah, don't ask a Brit why they eat beans. It's staunchly a part of their identity and they're very passionate and you will be attacked. Why do you love queuing? Queuing, oh, so into it. Look, one of the best parts of this whole coronavirus situation is people stay away from me and they line up, and it's the best. Where I live in London's quite compliant. I know I've been out and about, and I know it's not that way everywhere, but I'm fortunate and I love order. I love everyone sticking to their own side. I like rules. And queuing, I think, is the most British, fair way. It's a bit of the Australian saying of like fair dinkum. Everyone gets a fair go. There's a saying in Australia which is a fair shake of the sauce bottle, which is also sounds like the most Australian thing. It's just logic. If you cut in the queue in England, oh, there'll be tuts everywhere. Tut, tut, tut. This one also comes up a lot. So how's Brexit going? Don't bring up Brexit, because honestly, it's a very divisive topic. Some people are super for it, some people are super against it. Either way, you're gonna get ranted at from either side. So like, and it's like, so you might think, oh, it's like a quick, oh, how are you going? Like, it's not gonna be a short conversation. It's gonna be like, here's my PowerPoint presentation on why X, Y, and Z should or shouldn't have happened. And they'll go through it. Like, save yourself the energy and time. Don't mention the B word. Why do you drink so much tea? I don't actually drink tea. That's one thing I'm not very British at. I prefer tea in winter, but you cannot challenge a British person's tea drinking habits, because either they'll get very defensive or they'll get really defensive that they're not a tea drinker and then have to justify that to you, because they'll be like, oh, I'm the worst British person, I don't even like tea. And you're like, that's fine. You do you, hun. Why are you all so polite to each other? I think this is from people who don't understand British conversation, because often what they say and what they mean are different, and if you're paying attention, they're not being polite. Like saying, not my cup of tea, or that's an interesting choice, all mean what are you doing? What are you doing? That's ugly, it's basically. So they are actually, they're just being polite in how they deliver it, but they're not being as, I guess, bottled up as you think they are. But I do think the British culture, and I think this is a good thing, is a bit more collectivist. So you kind of, at the end of the day, like, you look out for your neighbour a bit more than you do here than you would in, say, other countries. Like, I know America's a bit more like dog eat dog, capitalism, gotta get on top. Whereas I think Brits, like with like the mask thing, everyone, like most people wearing a mask where I am, like pretty much everyone wears a mask, because it's like, it's what you do. We were told to protect everyone. Science says this, we're gonna do it. It's the right thing to do for everyone. Compare that to some other attitudes of like, my right to not wear a mask, blah, blah, blah. And I say that as an Australian who, in Australia at this moment, there is an anti-mask rally. So I am coming from no place of, I'm not on a high horse by any means. I just think it's a good thing. But you said you were fine. Everyone knows fine is not fine. I don't know how you've been in a relationship with a woman and thought that fine meant fine. Or maybe you haven't. Here's your first lesson. Why don't you speak any other languages? So this goes for almost every English-speaking country. I don't want to like sum it up for just England, but I think it's a bit more notable, so it's more noticeable in England because it's so multicultural and so close to Europe. So like obviously, if you're from Switzerland, you know German, French, English, Italian, they know all the languages because of where they are. But because English is kind of like the global language, we kind of don't need to learn because everyone speaks English, which for better or for worse has hindered everyone from feeling the need to learn a language. However, I do find this quite funny, and like it's supposed to be funny way, is that I have some friends and they're British, and like the stereotype is that Brits go to Spain for partying or just having a summer holiday or whatever. And they go and they'll order beer, so they'll be cerveza por favor is like beer. Una cerveza por favor, or dos cervezas por favor. So like 1 beer, 2 beer, please. Funniest thing in the world, when you're traveling with a Brit and they're in any country that doesn't speak Spanish and they're running around going cerveza por favor in like France, or like I was with someone in Egypt and they were like in Egypt, so it's clearly 1 Muslim, so they're not drinking, and 2 Arabic, and they're like cervezas por favor. Full clarity, they're doing it as a joke for fun, but I still think it's the funniest thing. Like using the wrong language in the country, I find that hilarious. So that's my weird sense of humour for you, but it is what it is. Brits don't learn languages, but neither do Australians, and neither do Americans, and neither do Canadians. Oh, Canadians know French. I'll take that. Well done, Canada. My last, but not least, because I've said this before and you guys have gone off in the comments. Is Jaffa cakes a cake or a biscuit? I stood by, do I even ignite this argument? Tell me in the comments, but keep it friendly. I swear to God, I'm not meant to start a war over this. This is, to a foreigner, this is why you don't bring it up. Just read my comments right now and you'll know why you're not going to mention this question. I always said it was a cake because I was like, well, like just because it's in packaging that looks like a biscuit packaging doesn't make it a biscuit, because like that's just packaging. It in itself is fluffy. However, I think there was a court case at some point, somewhere along the line, someone ruled it to be a biscuit for tax purposes or something. I don't know. Someone in the comments will tell you more, but oh my gosh. Now it's worse because I like my logic of like, well, just because the packaging looks like a biscuit doesn't make it a biscuit, you know what I mean? It is what it is. If I make a cookie, like an actual chocolate chip cookie in the size of a cake, it doesn't make it a cake just because it looks like a cake. But then once this court case came out, all logic left the window. So who knows? Don't start it. Start at your own risk. So that's all I have for you today. Just a few questions that you should never ask a Brit. Hopefully you have learnt from these. Tell me in the comments below if you're British, have you ever been asked these, and were you like polite or were you rude, or you like British polite, so like rude? And if you're a foreigner, tell me in the comments if you fall into any of these traps. And either one of you, if there's some that I've missed out, feel free to enlighten me. I love seeing all of your feedback. And once again, I'm really sorry for disappearing, I promise. I won't promise, but I have some exciting things in the pipeline. So hopefully I'll have a bit more consistent. I'm going back to 3 days. I temporarily thought maybe I'll do 2 days a week. I think we can do 3. Let's aim for the stars, guys. So hopefully you'll see me in, what day will this go up? Probably Friday. I'll see you Sunday. But yeah, thanks for sticking by me. Sorry again. And yeah, I can't wait to tell you about all the things I've been working on. I'm going to be one of those annoying YouTubers now. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm, but also helps me know that you liked it and I can make more like this. And if you really liked it, you can hit subscribe and I can see you next time. So hopefully you'll hit subscribe and I'll see you on Sunday. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.